Chaihan regarding the Chaihana part. The trailer will be shown before Hermine speaks or after, like after all the articles are.
I mean, during the presentation, you give the word to Hermina. Hermina will show.
Okay, got it.
Because we have more than, we have Hermina's film being shown at Organize, like trailer or like a little snip out of it.
Okay, got it.
We also have queer quiz if they want to show it. I don't know.
Okay. They will just share their screens. I got it.
Yeah, we have 3 videos today. Yeah, maybe let's wait for 3 more minutes until people come and then we can start. Yeah, we would ask you to rename yourselves like we did, showing your name, pronouns, and where you're at.
So shall we start or give it another couple of minutes? Let's start.
Let's start.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining this kitchen talk. This is our third kitchen talk this year, Unit's kitchen talk, and n-ost has more of them. My name is Pavel Gafarov. You can see it there on the screen, and if you would also add your pronoun and the city or village you are joining from, that would be very nice, so that the participants would know how to address each other, would know just a little bit about each other. Let's start. And first of all, I would like my colleague Salta to give you more info about the special issue, about UNIT, and about n-ost. Salta, the floor is yours.
Hi. Sorry, I'm just giving people some links to the streaming because for some reason they didn't receive the Zoom link.
Yeah, just one thing I forgot. I'm sorry, Sultana. Please, if you feel comfortable with that, turn your camera on so that we would have a bit more of a feeling of being together. And as you have seen, this meeting is being live streamed, so thank you for agreeing to that. And now, yourself.
Yes. Hi, welcome, dears. I'm so happy to invite you to official launch of our third online issue, which is called Art and Culture. And if you know, we had already two of them. The first one was on the topic of decolonization. The second one we titled as The Personal is Political. And the aim of this year for UNIT was to create articles from three regions, which are Eastern Europe, South Caucasus, and Central Asia, and to translate them from the regional languages into English language and to bring those stories closer to broader audience, to bring it to German audience, to all the people in our network. And if you don't know, UNIT is a part of bigger journalistic network, which is called n-ost. And n-ost is aimed at border crossing journalism. We support different initiatives and create different opportunities for journalists. So if you're a journalist, you can join us, not only UNIT, but also n-ost. Yeah, I'm happy to tell you all about articles that we combined under one cover today, which are 11 articles from 9 countries. And most of them tackle on how queer individuals in those countries try to use art and different types of self-expression in order to think about their identity, in order to overcome marginalization, in order to fight, in order to live, in order to heal, and in order to show the world who they are. I won't take too much time and tell you what those stories are, but I was amazed by the variety of the materials that being produced. We have 2 videos, we have interviews, we have essays, we have very poetical essays, we have even a podcast. So without further ado, I ask my colleague to Vika to send the link to our online issue for you to enjoy. So it's an official launch, I would say. So please open and take a look. Also, I would ask you to join our Telegram chat if you want to be in our network and to see, like, to share with other journalists your work, and also ask for help if you want. And the link that Vika will send into the chat will work for how long, Vika?
24 hours.
For 24 hours. So we do it like this limited way because we already had DOS attacks. So if you're not in our chat, please join us and you can see what kind of articles we are producing. And also if you have questions to other people who are interested in the topic, you can do this. Yeah, so I would like to thank you all of my colleagues who worked on this issue, Vika, Pavel, also an amazing translator, Valeria Kotina, all the project managers, all the editors. So please enjoy fruits of their labor. And I'm giving back the mic to Pavel, who will ask several authors who are here to shortly tell us about their articles and maybe give you a little snippet of something, and then we will have time to talk to them. So thank you.
So just a small thing about my responsibilities. I'm mostly responsible for keeping track of timing, and we are aiming for each article to be presented within 3 minutes. So if you're getting close to that limit, I will show this warning. And first, I would like to give the floor to Inga Darasilia from Women Platform.
I think Inga.
Unfortunately, Inga is not here.
Yeah, we need to.
Oh,
maybe.
Sorry, I missed that. Then maybe Artur could tell about his work. Artur?
Okay, I didn't expect it. For the project, sorry, I wrote an essay and also created a podcast, one episode. I wrote essay about Belarusian queer literature, especially about poetry, because I'm a poet and it was important for me. And I also was interested about whether before I mean contemporary generation of poet, someone on whom we could rely. And maybe it's funny, but important to know that this essay is full of assumptions due to some historical and political context that influenced and still influence on literature. And what else? I should say that we still don't know not only about queer Belarusian literature, but in general about Belarusian literature. So it was even harder to write this essay, and that's why I just said in the first sentence that this essay will be full of assumptions. So I tried to look at my own experience when I started to write poetry and how literature was taught at school, at university, and how it influenced on my way to literature and to poetry. And I also recorded the podcast, as I said, and in this podcast, Kristina Bandurina, a famous Belarusian queer poet, and we discussed what is queer, Belarusian queer poetry as a concept, and how it interacts with literature in general, and about the authors who write queer poetry. And now I'm thinking about to continue this project, maybe with to create more episode of podcast, and yeah, maybe that's all. I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
Because
of course.
it's quite difficult to describe essay because it's I don't know, it's a special form of prose. I don't know.
Thank you so much for saving our day with, that quick change of plans, and looking forward to reading more and hearing more in the podcast as well. So the next one will be my colleague Vika, talking about the article, which puts together interviews on different fields of art and culture, not just literature, which artwork talked about. Vika, the floor is yours.
Hey dears, I've just sent the link to this text from Moldova. I received this special task from our authors from there who were not available, unfortunately, to join us here, and that's why I'm reading the letter which they wrote for us. Dear colleagues, as in Moldova we have upcoming local elections, and this has become, and it's kind of tradition. Some politicians already started using the homophobic narratives in order to gain more votes. It's the classic speech regarding the attack of traditional values. For a long time, this negative narrative has been persistent in our society, making it more difficult for the queer people to fully express themselves. But thanks to local activists, NGOs, and especially the resilience of queer people themselves, things are changing. I am beyond grateful for the opportunity offered by this project to bring to the attention of broader audience these 3 stories of Moldovan queer artists. I interviewed Jenny, an amazing drag queen from Chisinau. I interviewed Max Karlan, who is the director of the amazing Queer Voices Film Festival in Moldova, and who previously invited a drag queen from Greece to offer training for the future queens in Chisinau. And this is how Jenny and her group started their activity. I also interviewed Sasha Zare. Her debut book, Uprooting, speaks of migration, identity, and feminism. Contrary to her own expectation, given some of the themes she touched, the book sold very well, both in Moldova and Romania, proving that queer stories are so much needed, and that besides helping other LGBTIQ+ people, teens and older ones, without them, we as a society would not be complete, would fail to understand so much of the complexity and beauty around us, and will fail to get better, and would fail to choose the politicians who care about human rights, who know what empathy and accountability is, who want to solve real problems and not to search for imaginary enemies. And the last, it has been a privilege to work on this project and to get a sense of how much can artists, queer artists, change for every one of us, but also for themselves. Their bounce back ability will never cease to amaze me, as well as their courage and creativity. I can only be grateful for what they shared in the interviews and hope the people reading them will discover as well new ways to see and understand them communities. Thank you. End of the quote.
Thank you so much, Vika, for relaying this to us. And now we can give the floor to Inga, who is ready to present 2 more articles from the issue.
Inga is here. I think ID is Inga.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I have some problems with the link. Yeah, thanks. Very sorry.
Do you need some time? Okay.
Actually, yeah, I was thankful if I can have like 5 minutes. Yeah, sorry.
So maybe we can just go on and then come back to these two articles. That's not a problem. So next will be 3 pieces covering drag in the countries of South Caucasus. And I would like first to give the floor to Aram to talk about his project.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Hello.
All right.
Hi, everyone.
hear
Can
you.
you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Great. Thank you. Thank you for having me. My name is Aram Amirbekyan. I am a journalist based in Yerevan, Armenia, and I co-created a piece, a photo story about drag in Armenia and the background and the backstory of drag and how drag has evolved throughout the years in the country and the political implications, including queer activism as well. I co-created the piece with my colleagues and friends Haik Sarkisyan and Maria Zakharyan. Maria was responsible for the photos. And I would say that I think it was important for me to write about it, mostly because in the Armenian media, drag and queer culture is like queer culture as a culture, not as, you know, a political trope as a culture is not necessarily always covered. So it was important for us to create this piece. We interviewed 6 former and current drag artists, and we kind of platformed them, like gave them the platform to share their experiences and the struggles that they had with not only just homophobia, but also, you know, the lack of spaces, the lack of funding, things like that. And it was hard because we had a lot of material, like they told us a lot of stories and a lot of ideas, and we kind of had to cut a lot of it down because the piece couldn't be long. It couldn't be too long, but we tried to maintain the main idea of where the roots of drag in Armenia are, and like how it has been presented in the Armenian pop culture and what the future prospects of drag are, not both as an art form in general, but also as a tool for queer activism and political activism at large. Yeah, and we had a lot of, as I said, info and a lot of material, and also we were really happy that around the same days that we did the piece was published, there was a drag performance in one of Armenia's most popular clubs, and more drag performances and drag artists are getting platforms. There are more available spaces now, even though we still have a long way to go. And yeah, I guess the main thing is that we tried to somehow kind of tell the story of an art form that is not usually covered in the mainstream media in Armenia. I guess that's that.
Thank you so much, Aram. The next article will be presented by Hermina. So the floor is yours.
Hey there. I'm originally from Armenia, but I'm based in Tbilisi, and I would love to say that I'm from South Caucasus. And my short documentary is filmed in Tbilisi and tries to discover the diverse layers of the city by connecting very parallelized layers and parts of it. Our main protagonist is the drag queen, mother of the drug house, who takes us from the very suburban areas of Tbilisi, where those cheap bazaars and markets are located, because we also know that drug queens don't earn a lot of money. It's also very economically hard for them to be able to perform, to sustain itself, and they need to go all the way down to those far bazaars to be able to buy their materials and products. And during this journey, we meet so many people who in everyday life don't seem to be that much queer, yeah? And sometimes we also can see them in opposite sides of the fight. But that bazaar is such an amazing place where all those parts of the city and people get united, and in the end, the drag queen takes a part of that city, the products itself produced and not produced, but gifted to them. They end up in the underground scene of Tbilisi. I have a trailer of the movie that I can share with you. It's going to be better if you just watch on your own, but then I just share my screen. So it's very short, it's just 1 minute. Let me know if you have a problem with the link.
It works fine.
Don't you think we could watch it all together, maybe?
Can you share? I'm just not
Maybe
having the best.
I can do it, for example, or
That
like.
would be amazing.
Mhm. So copy link, and here is the link. And here is the trailer, and now I need to press share screen, share sound, Google Chrome, share.
I'm not sure if the sound is right. No,
Yes, it's not. That is why.
you were right to suggest that everyone watches on their own.
No?
No, the video is okay, though not perfect, but the sound is not that good. So let's just say that everyone watches it on their own, and I highly recommend it. View for everyone, the film itself, not the trailer. And Hermina, do you want to say a couple more words about it, or should we just go on?
Chelodao in Georgian means my sister, and this was also kind of expressing a solidarity to the part of the city. It's in a way a conversation that all those layers of the city are having, and being in harmony together, besides the reality, very in a way, not in a way, but exactly a homophobic reality of Georgia, where we have seen what is happening every year during Pride months. But at the same time, we notice how it's growing drug scene itself in Tbilisi, and every weekend we are having drug shows, and queer people are getting more visibility. Maybe still in a bubble, but the layers are getting bigger and bigger. And I guess that's it.
Thank you so much. We unfortunately don't have anyone to talk about the third piece published by Chayhana for this issue. It's about a drag artist, Lady Slim, who comes from Azerbaijan. And I would just recommend everyone to check it out because it's not just a great text, but also a lot of gorgeous photos. And it shows, it tells about an experience of a drag artist having courage to not hide her name and, you know, being famous or being famous in a country where it's close to impossible to do that when you're a queer artist. So should we go to Inga now? Inga, would you talk about the two articles? So, or maybe we can do it in the end. Then let's go to the article about queer spaces. No, not queer spaces. I'm sorry. Let's go to Akbermet from Queer Kiss.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I can't turn on my camera. It's not working. I hope it's okay if I...
Sure.
Okay, so hi everyone again. My name is Akbermet. I'm a co-founder of Caucasus project. It's the first media platform in Central Asia, only for queer people and only about queer people in Central Asia. So in collaboration with the unit, me and my colleague Artur, we made a video called Guess the Fact, Queer Artist Edition. We invited 6 queer artists from Kyrgyzstan, including 2 photographers, 2 artists, 1 collage artist, and a writer. So we made this video in interactive format, as we usually do. And our guests, they read facts on cards about each other and try to guess who this fact belongs to. And in this video, we wanted to give queer artists a platform to express themselves, share their art, and talk about their experience as queer artists in Central Asia. And unfortunately, this video has not been published yet on our page in the light of recent events. To be specific, this August, our government, they adopted new law which bans so-called LGBT propaganda. So it became unsafe for us to share this video, and we changed our page from public to private. But you can watch this video on the unit website. So I guess that's it.
Thank you so much, Akbermet. I think the plan was to watch the trailer, but I'm not sure about watching it together because the video will just keep breaking. Let's just everyone check out the video via the link. The next article I will say a couple of words about because we don't have its author tonight with us either. It is an article about self-expression from an author from Kyrgyzstan, whose name we do keep anonymous, just to be, you know, in regard to the increasing risks which Akbermet just talked about. Nevertheless, we try to show how a person with not only having experience not only of living in Kyrgyzstan, but also of living abroad, how the range of the self-expression tools they have expands, and how it can be how this person is still under the influence or under the the need to take into account the cultural norms of Kyrgyzstan and the family needs as well. A recommended read as well. And next.
Can I just add one more thing, that we initially we planned to publish this piece at one of the Kyrgyz media, but due to the law we couldn't. So UNIT became also the first place to publish this article. And also initially author wanted to show their face and to show their name, but due to the law, we now decided to like publish it as it is now. And yeah, so, but the photos are nevertheless gorgeous and the text is very touching. So please take a look at it.
Thank you so much for Sultanat. Yeah, that's what was important to point out, that it was us who insisted on keeping it anonymous and just keeping it erring on the side of safety. The next article will be presented by Alina from Sarpa Media.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alina. I'm an art director of Sarpa, and I'll broadcast instead of Vera, who's editor-in-chief. As you know, Uzbekistan has criminalized consensual same-sex relations between adult men, and the threat of being penalized under this article leads to complete ban on self-expression among queer people, and to identify oneself as queer and to call one's work queer art is to attract extra attention of law enforcement agencies. And this leads to the fact that visible queer art as such does not exist in Uzbekistan. And that's why the need to reflect the culture was to reflect the culture in this third material was a challenge for us. And we decided to collaborate and let the community itself speak. People from the community prepared several artworks, like collages and drawings. There were no rules or any restrictions, and the main theme was to express feelings and emotions. And they also added some small comments, like a pair of, like a couple of sentences, designing this material, we just linked these comments to the words. And unfortunately, for security reasons, we cannot disclose the details of the creation of the material, and we cannot give the first and last names of the authors and organizers, and just except for initials. But nevertheless, we're grateful to those who participated and made this material real, as it all involved working with community and learning new practices. And they actually created more than 50 drawings and collages, but we selected just 10 of them. You can see them in the link. Yeah, I think that's all. I tried to be short.
Thank you, Alina. It was quite surprising to see Sarpa doing this kind of article with a group authorship and with collages made by a group of people, this community authorship, because before we were reading this big investigations or in-depth long read articles, and now it's something completely different and still very, very precious. Thank you. And the next we go to Nikita from Master Media, who will talk about peculiarities of running LGBTIQ.
Yep. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? So I'm actually not an author of this piece. He was not able, unfortunately, to be here, but I supervised the article and I edited it, so I can talk about it. So initially, we were planning to make an article not about like modern spaces, but about the history of LGBTQ activism in Kazakhstan in the 90s and in the zeros. But it was not possible. It was not possible to find like proper heroes, and the activism itself was very scattered and rare. So we decided to go with like modern times and interviewed people who are running like three, well, probably you can call them cultural spaces for LGBTQ community. So the first one is a bar. We were interested in how this bar is keeping the security, because even though we don't have any laws particularly targeting the community, some people are still like aggressive about it. And this bar, it actually allows like not just people whom they know, but they use like a questionnaire. They send a questionnaire to anyone who wants to visit it, and they receive answers. We also interviewed people who are running like, if we can say, cultural space. Their initial idea was that there are a lot of nightclubs and bars for LGBT community, even in Kazakhstan, but there are no places where they can just meet and talk and just, meet people with close experiences. And what is actually very cool is that they're not just in Almaty or Astana, they're gathering in different cities all around the country, but they are inviting only those people whom they know already. So like everyone, any participant can invite someone whom he knows, and this is how they're expanding. And the third place is basically an educational institution in one of the NGOs who give lectures and some like education on different topics regarding LGBTQ rights and like health issues. So we had to change all the names to not to point out any addresses and all this stuff, because some people can be aggressive and some people can harm our heroes. But anyway, I think it's good to share such information. Thank you.
For sure, that's the point of our project, I guess. So the next article, and it's not an article, it's a documentary, will be presented by its author, Tori Solganai. I'm not sure which is the best option. I'm sorry.
Hi, hello everybody. I'm really nervous because it's my first time when I'm in such a meeting, taking a part, and yeah, thank you for having me. And I'm really happy that I made this. It's not actually a documentary, it's more like journalistic documentary, right? But when I was doing this, I was really thinking that it would be really great to make really big documentary about this culture, about drag culture in Kazakhstan, because there was so many really nice histories and stories and people who is making this culture in Kazakhstan. And I made it only in Almaty, but I heard that it's really good and great stuff in Astana. So there is a really nice club and there is a really nice drag shows, even better than in Almaty. And it was interesting also. When I was making this film, I was in shock because I've never thought that there is so many people, young people, old people there, that it's not just a hobby or it's not just a nightlife, it's a part of their life. As for some of them, it's a professional, so they earn money in clubs and make great shows. And before, like 2 years ago, I was producing my friend who was the first Kazakh drag queen in Kazakhstan. It was first competition, drag competition, it called Dragon, and I was directing him. And that time I was in this stuff. I mean, inside this culture, and it was really, really. I was shocked that there was a lot of young people who are interested in it, not just like because they are queer or they're just, it's just nightlife hobby. It was interesting for them because it was, first of all, it was art for them. And there was so many shows, and it wasn't just lip syncing, you know, dancing. It was really nice shows telling some stories behind this. And it was really nice. So unfortunately, I couldn't make interview with that queen, the Kazakh queen, because he was really afraid of showing his face, and he's not openly gay.
Can I add here, like, what you mean by Kazakh queen? Togana means Kazakh speaking queen. So
Yeah.
not person
Yes.
speaks Russian or like other languages, but the first person who was performing on a stage while speaking Kazakh language, while using Kazakh elements of Kazakh culture, and were singing in Kazakh language songs. So it was something.
Yeah, all the English songs in Kazakh. Yes. Yeah, unfortunately I couldn't do it, but anyway, when I was making these interviews, I also was happy because there were so many good stories. And what was the most interesting, that I met people, they are in film, they're not gay or in queer community, but still they are making all these shows too. They're taking a part because for them it's the way to show themselves as an artist. And for me it was like, wow, that's amazing. And I know that, you know, I was afraid to put my name on the titles because I was afraid of all this hate or I don't know, something else. But the last time I was I was speaking with Saltanat and Vika, they advised me to put my name because it's my work. So, and I'm really afraid of, I'm waiting for some comments anyway from my friends or somebody else, but I'm really proud that I made this because I think it's very important for them and also for me now, because they exist and they're here and they're making such a great art actually. Yes, and I know that in Kazakhstan it feels like, you know, there is some part of life where people live without gay community or queer community, and they don't know that they exist, and this queer community living with the idea that they don't know these people. So there is these several lives, and I like that some people could watch the movie, the film, and would like to join or just see the show one day maybe. Because I saw when I was there, I know, and my friends from theater, because I'm working in theater, the actors, they were coming there and they were like very proud to see it because they said, wow, this is art and we like it, we would like to join. And some of actors were helping to some drag queens to make a show, dancing or, you know, acting shows. And I hope somebody do it too after watching the film.
Can I add something here for clarification, that this film was actually produced by UNIT and n-ost, so there is no media behind it. Like our team were involved in project management of creating this film, and the premiere is today, so you're the first people to watch it. And of course, our partners in Kazakhstan, like the village Kazakhstan will now like create a new piece about it. But I just like, if you're a journalist, here a new story for you if you want to like push forward this amazing film. And what for me was really great to see is that a lot of people who are being interviewed in the film were actually drag kings. So there were more drag kings than drag queens, which is rarely happening. Yeah, giving voice to this new generation of drag kings, I think was amazing. So thank you, Tolganay, for creating this film for us. And please watch the English subtitles so you can understand everything if you don't speak Russian or Kazakh. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tolganay. And now we give the floor to Inga, our women platform.
Yeah, sorry. Hi again. Yeah, I'm Inga, and I'm an editor of this year's Ukrainian articles. I'm gonna present two of them today. So first one is about art and culture. This text is about Ukrainian photographer and political activist Katerina Turenko, who is also happened to be my friend, but she's also an author of this text. So yeah, I'm just an editor. Photography is her hobby. It's not the main job. So she takes the pictures only of her closest circle, her loved ones. So this photos is always very, has a lot of intimacy, even if it's not erotical, but most of them are very erotic. So be prepared. And as a queer woman and a feminist, she's most interested to capture this intimacy between women. And her models is mostly Ukrainian scientists, activists, artists, and so on. And I know personally from them that it was an amazing experience for each of them. They open up during this process. They learn to love their body, accept their sexuality. So I would say that her photos are beautiful inside and out, but also it's not only photos, it's also a text. And I would say it's very poetical, very deep, and very touching article. And she opened about a lot of things that, as she said, she never thought before because nobody asked her about it. And also after a full escalate invasion, she moved to Berlin and have to postpone her hobby. You know, she need to concentrate on how to survive in Germany, fight bureaucracy. So then when I asked her to write something what she's passionate about, she was more than happy about it. And I think there's a lot of passion also in this text. And I personally love all about this article, and I recommend you to read it, or at least check the photos. And
they're gorgeous.
Sorry?
They're gorgeous.
Yes. I mean, that's not all. There's a link on her private Instagram account, so you can send her request. I think she will approve it, and you can see more, because there's something, you know, a little bit maybe too much for Google, so we didn't put it in the article. And the second article is a personal story, and I chose a personal story of Ukrainian LGBT activist and open lesbian who been fighting with Russian propaganda for 9 years with her video camera as a journalist. And at the moment she's fighting with Russia as a sniper and in Ukrainian armed forces. It's a short but very deep biography of her. It's about how her hometown was occupied by Russia, how she saved her grandmother when Russian military threatened them with weapons. It's about how she survived occupation of Mariupol with her girlfriend, and how in the end, after 9 years, she was need to move. So sorry, not sorry. In the end, she decided she don't want to run from Russian occupation anymore, and she has enough strength and power to just fight it. So this article, I think it's hard but important because it's helped to understand why Ukrainian feminists and queer people join military, even if it's also hard, because obviously there's a lot of homophobia and sexism in army. It's even if it's get better now. So yeah, maybe it's all what I want to say. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Inga. And
so I'd like, sorry that I'm
of course,
this article was like so important, and we waited for it with such a like eagerness, because it's actually a part of our second issue, The Personal is Political, but it was published recently, so we presented it in the framework of this issue. Yeah, please watch it. It like brings you to tears. It gives you all the goosebumps in the world. The photographs are taken in the like at war in the like trenches. Yeah, if you need to read something, then read this one, please. I mean, if you need to read at least one, then this would be the one that you...
Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. So now we thank you everyone for being great with timing. We have a lot of time for questions if you have any. So you can just raise your hand or write them in the chat if you feel more comfortable with that, whichever works best for you. And let's see if we have any questions.
While people are thinking for the question, I may add that we as a team now are working on a print version of these 3 issues, and we bring under the cover all of the articles that have been produced throughout this year. Of course, we have limitations, so we chose 9 articles to be published in full, and then we have like other articles and videos published in a short version or just with a visual, but all of the QR codes leading to our online issues will be included in the book. And yeah, we're printing it only with 250 exemplars. So we'll see how much we'll be left with, but if you really want one, and you're in Berlin, we will be doing a presentation, I think sometime in November, maybe. Yeah, not maybe. We already have a date. I forgot it. Sometime in November or beginning of December. I don't know. You will join our chat. You will know, like I will announce it to you. You can come to our office and we'll be screening the films. So Tolganai's film will be screened, Hermina's film will be screened. Other films that we produced with Chehana this year and last year will be screened. We will show Caucasus. Yeah, if you want to have nice time and possibly get a book, then come. And yeah, so if someone has a question, then now I'm giving the floor to a person.
Thank you for the hearts as well, and I can relate to maybe being in a thoughtful mood after hearing about 10 stories, with some of them being very heavy.
Maybe I have one question to Hermine. Like I had, so I think people don't have questions yet because they didn't see the film, but maybe I will, like, how to say, bring the attention to it more through my question. Like, how did you come to this idea of following drag artists through the bazaar? Like, because it's like a very interesting point of view. I never saw something like this. Can you maybe tell us what your thought process was, how this concept came to life?
Actually, I had the idea for a long time, and it came to my mind like years ago in Yerevan. I wanted to film it in Yerevan because I knew how that scene is hidden and not that visible, and I knew the drag queen, and we were talking, discussing it so much, and they were telling me how they go to that specific bazaar market that I know so much, and I know the social economic aspects also behind it. And I was like, I actually want to film how you go there, and these interactions you with the people, most of the time old people from bazaars. And actually there is also part in this movie where the lady from the shop asks, the lady sees those two people in her eyes, two men, and she's asking, like, what is happening? Why are you looking for those things? Why do you need them? And they're just like, it's for theater. And there's like, what kind of theater is it? And it's like experimental. And they mention, and they just change the topic very quick. And the conversations that we were having, how she explains and shows all the jewelries and the stuff. And before filming it, I could kind of visualize it in my head in Yerevan when I had the idea. Then I met Homo erectus, my protagonist, and I knew them before. And one day I met in a metro them. I was just waiting, bored, and waiting for my metro to arrive. And met them with their daughter, and it's like we were chatting. It's like, hey, I'm going to Samgori Maidani. It's like, what are you gonna do there? Because it's just like very, again, far away, residential, not queer at all. It's like, yeah, we need to do some shopping. It's like, can I come next time?
Well, so
and
it
then
was
I
a
started
clash
to follow their
of
journey.
different worlds, like this clash of two different worlds.
Yeah, because it's still, I would say, our region is quite similar, and especially all those homophobic practices are quite same. And you can get the sense what is it for these people to go there and what could mean that journey. And the concept of queering Tbilisi itself, the parts that are not queer at all.
And maybe a follow-up question here.
Is it me? My internet?
Now we don't. Now you're frozen, I think. Yeah, and maybe here Aram can add something, because I wanted to ask Hermina actually, like, her perspective as an Armenian living in Georgia, like what are the, like you said you're South Caucasian, like how does it all work out? Do you see like huge differences between Armenian drag scene and Georgian drag scene or queer scene? Yeah, I don't know if Hermina back, but maybe Aram can add something.
I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
But let Aram to present Yerevan, and I'm gonna just have my internet video off because my internet is very bad. Aram.
Yes, thank you. Well, I would say that I think the drag scene in Armenia is kind of re-emerging at the moment. And when we were actually like speaking to the former art, like to the kind of artists of the older generation, and by older generation I mean, like, you know, actually 2016, 2017. I think the scene is re-emerging now with you know, social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok being way more widespread, and also like things being way more open than they were in 2016 or 2015 or 2017. But a lot of this, I think a lot of the Armenian drag scene is of course inspired by the basically the art that is going on around Armenia. So like, of course, the Georgian drag scene, for example, is an inspiration for the Armenian drag scene. And of course, the Armenian drag scene also, like, especially like the older artists were very much inspired by other like the post-Soviet countries and the art forms that were going on in the post-Soviet countries, such as Ukraine, you know, or Russia, like this, like for example, like generally like drag in Slavic countries very much inspired like the early drags of Armenia, and that was a recurring theme. And now I feel like the Armenian drag is way more inspired maybe by, like, you know, Western countries preserving the Armenianness of it all again. And yes, I would also say that I think the main thing about Armenian drag, like the main problem that everyone talked about, was the spaces and the safety and the security, because one of the like most popular clubs was attacked in Armenia, like not attacked, raided by the police in Armenia for like the drugs charges. They were looking for drugs. But this club also hosted and continues to host you know, drag shows. So like the main thing about the scene, and we need more security, because it's also like another thing about the Armenian scene is that it's a militarized country currently in a conflict. So that of course brings out more, you know, heteromasculinity and more I would say nationalism in a way, and like, of course, more like hateful sentiment towards anything queer, including drag.
Thank you so much, Aram, for your insight. Vika, did you have a question? So maybe just one question more, and then we will be finishing, I think.
Yes, I had a
Yeah.
question, but my question was also addressed to Aram. Do you think it's okay to ask it?
Yeah, I guess why not?
Okay, thank you, dear moderator. My question was about these pictures, these photos which you've chosen, because they're black and white. And usually when people are making photos of drag kings and queens, they're usually full of colors, feathers, glitter, etc. So people are showing colors. And in your case, you decided to make it completely different. Could you please tell us a bit more about this decision, and if it was yours or your editors? Thank you.
I think Aram did not catch that the question was for him.
I as far like the question was about the photos and the color scheme of the photos. Did I understand that correctly?
Exactly. Yep.
That was breaking.
Aram, maybe you could turn your camera off. It's actually, the internet is breaking a little bit, so maybe it will work better with your camera off. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as I said before, my friend Maria was like the photographer, and Heike and I were in charge of the text. But generally, the conversations around the photos and the decisions were made by like both Maria and the photo editor of Chaykhana. I think when it comes to the color scheme, it was generally like we wanted to show different colors. Actually, we wanted to show like different color schemes in the photos, because also some of the photos were taken in different contexts. And for example, we had a photo from an actual performance in a club of a drag queen. And then we had some other photo shoots where we chose to go with black and white because it went with the theme of the photo shoot. But like we kind of wanted to showcase the different contexts and the different, moods in which Armenian drag can exist. So I think, like, as far as I understand from what Maria was saying, also was like that, like the different color schemes would work. We actually also like had photos from older drag performances from 2016, 2017, but those photos were unfortunately not included because of just like formatting issues and size issues of the photo. But like those were also very interesting photos of like, and generally like, just like it like a part of like early Armenian drag history. But yeah, generally we tried to include like kind of like we tried to include the somewhat of a diversity when it came to the photos in the photo story. So that's the gist.
Okay, thank you. We just have another question from the team, from Sultanat. I'm sorry everyone for hijacking the floor, but we don't always have the chance to talk to the journalist, and it's great that we have it now. Sultanat.
But thank you, Aram. And Hermina already left, I think, because of the connection issues. It's interesting how like we perceive these three countries as one region, but then you have like very different contexts, and it's quite fascinating to see how queer culture is like blossoming into different directions, or maybe similar directions. I have actually question to, so thank you, Aram. But still have a bit of time. I would ask a question to Akbermet. I'm interested in how you end up choosing this young artist, and like what was your selection criteria? Did you make a call for artists, or like what was like the process of choosing these people? And I really enjoyed the art, like because you made it very nicely. You not just create the game, but you like showed their art while they were playing, and I think it was very creative way to present someone's art. So yeah, maybe you can tell us a bit.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for your comment and for your question. Actually, it's like always was a problem for us to find people for our videos, because in our country we have like problems with homophobia, and most of the queer people, they are in the closet, and like it was really hard. It's always like hard to find people who are ready to come out and to speak openly. So we usually do this like through our acquaintances and people that we already know, and we ask them to find other people. So this time it was even more harder because we had to like find queer artists, not only just queers. So actually, yes, we did it with help of our friends, and we like even found people who maybe not very popular, and it was even better for us. We decided that it would be good to like give them opportunity to share their art. So yes, we just wanted to find any queer people who were artists in our country.
Okay, so I thank you. I don't have any questions anymore.
Thank you, Salka. Thank you, Ahmed, and thank you, everyone. I think that's it for now, and see you in the chat. See you in our next kitchen talks, hopefully at some point. Let's see what the future brings. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Read the issue, watch the films.